What's up, y'all? It's your girl TJX, and welcome back to Life with God Ministry, where we do life with God. Today, it is mid October, October the 15th, and early voting just opened in my state. I'm kicking it in my jammies. I've had a pretty long day of work, and I just wanted to rewind and get ready for bed. But before I go to sleep and get ready for the next day, I just thought that I'd give y'all some updates and film and tell y'all how my life is going while I live it out with God. So stick around. So, I am still in the valley. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that the valley is in contrast to the mountaintop with God. Um, right now, it's not horrible in the valley. Um, so, I am very optimistic. And I actually have a praise report, a report that I really wasn't expecting. So let's get into it. So I told y'all about the fast that God had me do. And honestly, truthfully, I've not been the same since God had me do that fast. I feel like God broke something on the inside of me that I didn't realize needed to be broken. And I didn't know that there was so much gunk in my heart that needed to be brought up. But I talked about that a little bit in the last video, how towards the end of my fast, like mid to end of my fast, because it was a week-long fast, and I fasted secular music, social media, including Pinterest, because Pinterest is like my loophole. um, and I was just in tune with God. Like I didn't consume any media that did not talk about God, that did not glorify God. And that's hard for me. So that's what he had me do for a week, and just focus on him, spend more time praying and just supplicating my time, just spending time worshiping him. But I caught an attitude, and I could not shake this attitude. And usually when I catch an attitude with God, or I just catch an attitude and I can't figure out um the root of the problem, I'm I'm just like, God, fix this. And I feel like usually it goes away, but this time I was like, I have been mad all day. I have never been upset about something that I could not pinpoint, and it lasts for as long as it did. And it lasted all day, plus it bled into the next day. And I was like, am I really this unhappy? Am I really this unfulfilled? Am I really this unsatisfied with my life? And I've just been pushing all of this down, and God is bringing it up so that he can deal with it? Yes. The answer to my question was yes. So I finished that fast, and I felt cleaner. I felt like I could hear the Holy Spirit better. I felt like my time with him wasn't wasted, even though I didn't understand what he was doing initially. And so fast forward, I'm finished with my fast. God has called me out the fast. And I like to, so I brought out my physical Bible, and it used to sit on one of my bookshelves. Um, and because I have a Bible case, and I have Bible highlighters and pens and like little sticky notes, so I put them together because when usually, like when I open the physical Bible, I'm taking notes or something. And I like to sit in this chair because my bookshelf, you can't see it because it's kind of messy right now, but it's right here. And so I started putting my Bible next to my bed on my nightstand, so I didn't have an excuse of laziness, because that's what I was saying before. I didn't feel like walking from my bed to the chair. Very lazy. But when I first wake up in the morning, sometimes I succumb to my laziness. So I put this by my bed, and I've been challenging myself inconsistently, I might add, but challenging myself nonetheless, to when I do have time, and it's usually not on a weekday morning. A lot of the times, not all the times, but a lot of the times. But I've been challenging myself to read at least one chapter the first thing I do, and just my submit. Like, I don't sit here and study, I don't research, but I just read. I ask God for um, His will, and to learn something new. And sometimes I will like have to Google some things, some words, so I can conceptualize what's happening and so I can contextualize it. But I spent like maybe 30, 40 tops on one chapter. I was in the book of Ezekiel. I'm still in the book of Ezekiel. And I can't remember exactly which verse I had read, because the verse really, I mean, the chapter really wasn't my praise report. The diligence is part of my praise report. But also the night before, and I almost forgot this, the night before I had read a chapter, because I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have time the next morning, but I want to dedicate my time to you now because I'm going to bed, and I just want you to know, like, I love you and I want to spend time in your word. So I read a chapter, and after I got done with that chapter, I just held the Bible close to my heart. And I was like, God, help me to be better at my job. Please give me wisdom so that I can be excellent. I know that you want me excellent. I know you want me to be excellent in all things because it glorifies you. I'm not saying I have to be perfect. You're not saying I need to be perfect, but you do want me to put my best foot forward. You do want me to strive, to not be lazy and to be good at what I do. And if I'm lacking in areas that you can equip me in, then equip me in them. Like, I give me the wisdom so I can be a better worker. And I prayed that the night before. And then the next morning, I spent some time in his word. And then I went on really about my day. I went on with my usual devotion. So I get to my job and I text one of my bosses who was not in the same office as I was in. And I was like, hey, let me know how I can support you today. And this is very significant because I couldn't understand, and to a certain extent, still don't quite understand her leadership skill. And I knew that that day was going to be a busy day because there was this big event happening, and she had to be the one to sort of moderate in a way and also like show up and be there for pictures and travel and make sure things are going well. It was a lot. We also had we had a couple elected officials there, so there was a lot on her plate, which I completely understood. So I was like, let me know how I can help you. And she was very appreciative of this, which was like, oh, I didn't know that this was something that you liked, because I had not really tried this before. And anyway, she was like, thank you so much for asking. If you can come to the event earlier today and help out, that would be great. And she told me who to ask, um, who to contact so that I can assist. And it pleased my boss a lot that I was there to assist. I didn't talk to her until much later in the event where they were like cutting out cake. But I also was like, hey, do you need help with anything else? And she was like, no, I think we got it covered. But then I looked around and I saw that the guy that was cutting the cake actually did not have it, because there were cupcakes and there was like sheet cake. And it was a very long line of people. Like I said, it was a big event and there was a long line of people, and he was just struggling. And I knew who it was. So I just helped. She did say, hey, check and see, he might need some help. And so I did. And when I did that, she's very pleased with me. So much so that after I got done with cutting the cake and the cupcakes and all that stuff and kind of cleaned up the mess, that my boss called me over to then take a picture with her and one of I don't know his position, but someone who works in a different department but is sort of a big deal. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, I have gotten favor with her because I asked God to give me wisdom. And it was as simple as, let me know how I can support you today. Is there anything I can do to help? Did not know that that's what she wanted from me, because I have two bosses, and the one that I report to both of them. But the one that I was referring to in my previous videos is the one that works in the office that I was at that day. So, and I know his leadership style because I got to shadow him. So I already knew, and I got to talk to him beforehand. But the second boss is different. I met her once I started my job, and it was like that first week that I met her. And she doesn't report to him. So it's like two different branches, right? Sounds confusing. It's really not. But yeah, I was so grateful to God for giving me that wisdom that I asked for, because I didn't know what it would look like. I wasn't sure. Whenever I ask God to give me wisdom, I feel like He gives them to me in different ways, and it pertains to different situations. It just depends on what's going on, and I'm very grateful for that. But this one I really caught, because it was like the whole day was good. Like the whole day, I felt like I was being useful. The whole day, I finally understood what my boss needed from me. The whole day, I got to go to this event, which means I wasn't like at a chair or at my desk the whole day. And I got to meet new people. And I did. I met a lot of people and made some good connections and sort of networked in with departments that I don't usually come in contact with. So it was great. And it started the night before when I asked God for wisdom, when I said, Lord, I want to be excellent. Show me how to do that. Help me. I know that you're not condemning me. I know that technically no one has complained about my work or my work ethic or my attitude, but I feel like I could do better. Help me to do better. And I was able to. So I brought my Bible out because I just wanted to show y'all, like, sometimes it really is better to read from the physical Bible, because I don't have to put the book on D&D. I can put my phone on D&D and not be disturbed. And there's really something, to me at least, and I've heard this from other believers, that there's really something about just flipping the pages and just seeing them just in black and white and color coding them. And because that's what I do, I color code because I'm just like that, and that's how I organize. But there's something about having the physical book with you. Um, and so I implore you to make it closer to you. Put it in closer proximity to you. Maybe try putting on your nightstand facing you so that when you do wake up, you see it, because it's not the only book on my nightstand. I have plenty of other books. I've got journals on my nightstand and all that good stuff, but it's the first book that I see. And it's a reminder that I should spend time with Him. It's not a punishment. It's not something I do when I need something from God. It's something I do because I know God is good. God has been good to me. Um, and He's kept me and sustained me. And more than that, I've been able to thrive in many areas of my life. And all He wants me to do is get to know Him more and understand His personality more. And I'm in the book of Ezekiel. Like, Ezekiel is not sexy. I don't know if y'all read the book of Ezekiel. It's not it's not sexy, and it's not glamorous. I mean, at the beginning, God shows His glory, and that's the most glamorous part about it. But even that was probably a little bit scary because it's God's glory. And His angels. They have different heads. Like, this is not, these aren't the things that you see on TV. But God honored my request. And it just goes to show, even the things that we think are little, they're important to God. And it pleases God. When you look into Proverbs and Ecclesiastes, it pleases God when you ask Him for wisdom, because that's your little bit of effort. Like, knowing that you are not 100% perfect, but you know that God is, and God is the supplier of your needs and the source of all things good, and you go to Him, He will honor that request as long as it aligns with His word. And me being good at my job and doing my job to the best of my ability, the job that He gave me aligns with His word. So just thought I'd give you that food for thought. That's really it for today, y'all. Like, I don't have anything else. I just wanted to encourage y'all about giving your day to God and just letting Him minister into your spirit, letting Him take things up from your heart and show them to you, and allowing Him to deal with you in the way that He needs to deal with you. Whether it's unforgiveness or hurt or pain, sadness, and pushed down emotions, like, these are things that are important to God. And it might take more than a day. It might take a week. It might take a month. It might take the remainder of the year, but it's important. So, good night, everyone. I truly appreciate you watching. And if you're wondering, this pajama set came from Target. $30, but super comfortable and makes me feel like I'm in fall because it was cold today. Anyways, like and subscribe for more. I have a couple more videos I'm excited to share with y'all. Until next time, bye.